Hey Tim, I'm good, how are you? I'm just gonna take a few moments whilst we're waiting for people to come on to just sit and invite some stillness into the body. I've got a little bit of soreness in my back, so I feel like I just need to move, honestly. Hey Zaza. My day was good, thank you. How was yours? Hi, Pilot Edits. Welcome. Hi, my love. Welcome. Hey, guys. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the live. I'm not from the USA. No, I'm from the UK. Welcome, everyone. I hope everyone's having a lovely evening. I'm not an AI. I am a real human being, actually. Where is everyone from today? Are you guys in the UK or somewhere else? I'm well, thank you. How are you? Okay, I have to read this comment. lelad, the stars in the sky and the moon above are dim compared to the one I love. Your beauty isn't just in how you shine, but in how you make this world feel divine. Ah, I love that. Guys, if you spam, I'm going to put you on timeout, okay? If you want to, I invite you guys to just take a moment to take a little step into stillness with me. Just taking deep breaths. Let's all take a deep breath together as we're all here together. Okay, something I was thinking about earlier today was how when we are in the present moment, we're able to access a much higher version of ourselves. Like the higher self resides in the present moment. Yes, I do like to talk about spiritual things. I'm a spiritual coach and I like to teach spirituality. It's all the stuff I've learned in the last 10 years from my own healing journey. I started off when I was around 20 years old, and I grew up in a family which was quite atheist or agnostic. And I never really thought about spirituality that much when I was growing up. And then I always had like a little connection to the divine, but I wasn't really aware of it. Like I would write in my journal and I would pray, but I didn't really think of it as praying. And I used to match my breath with my cat's breath when we were sitting there together. And I didn't realize, this when I was really young, I didn't realize that I was doing like a meditation, but it was so calming. And I remember thinking, oh, this is so calming, just matching my breath to the cat's breath, to the cat's purr or breath, whatever it was. And then when I turned 20, I started to really meditate. and read about spirituality, and I got into it so much. And I remember thinking then, oh, I want to be a spiritual teacher, but I was so, like, I hadn't gone through the experience enough yet to start teaching, obviously. So fast forward 10 years and here we are. Do you believe in ghosts? If so, have you ever seen one? If no, why? I'm so close to God and his divine powers. Okay, Pete, thank you for your question. I do believe in ghosts. I have not necessarily seen one, but I do think that I don't know what the difference is really between the entities that live in the imagination realms or the spiritual realms and ghosts. Some mediums say that they do show up in your imagination, like they talk to you through that spirit realm. So I don't know, but when I was a kid, I used to get a lot of impressions in my mind, in my imagination, and it made me really scared of ghosts. And I was really scared of the dark at one point. And I used to, like, as I was falling asleep, I would see like people in my mind's eye. It's like they were walking up to me and I'd be like, ah! So I don't know if that's a ghost. I don't know, to be honest, but other than that, not really, no. Like, there's been some weird things happen, but I've not really seen a ghost. I don't think so anyway. Do you believe in aliens? I do believe in aliens, yes. Absolutely. I never saw an alien. No. Hey guys, if you're here, say hello. What if aliens are 4D and we can't see them, only experience their influence? I do think that extraterrestrials are able to exist in different dimensions. So I think it's possible. Why don't angels speak to us so we can hear them? Honestly, I think that if you want to hear guidance from the divine, whether that is angels, spirit guides, then you need to quiet your mind. The mind is like the clouds in the sky, and the divine part of us is like the blue sky, our intuition, our higher self. The part of us that is connected directly to the divine is the blue sky, and it's always there. But we can't hear or see or feel its guidance if there are too many clouds fogging up that blue sky. So we have to, and the clouds are a symbol for the thoughts that we have. So we have to start to really access stillness, quiet our mind down in order to hear our angels or spirit guides, if that's what you want to call them. Do you believe in Zen Buddhism? I mean, I don't know if believe is the right word. I think that Buddhist practices are very beneficial, and they can be very beneficial for finding more presence and stillness. Yes, I do. And I do like to practice the Buddhist type of meditation, sitting in stillness, or I believe that loving kindness is a Buddhist meditation. Correct me if I'm wrong. Or is like Vipassana, or is that from yoga, or is that from Buddhism? Do you believe in Gaia? I mean, Gaia is the spirit of Mother Earth. I don't think I have to believe in her. I can just look around and see and feel her. Do you like Eckhart Tolle? Yes. I'm very inspired by Eckhart Tolle. It's actually not a robe, okay? It's a scarf. Do you believe in Slender Man? I used to play Slender Man when I was a kid. Really scared me. My favorite subject in school was... I don't know. I didn't really have one, but I liked to do... anything where I could just mess around, honestly. Like, I didn't like doing too much formal education. So the lessons that I felt like I could just mess around and do whatever was like art and media. It was very good for my freedom, even though I felt like I was really bad at art when I was at school because of the way that they taught us. It didn't do well with me. So I felt like, because in the art class, I didn't try that hard, guys, to like get good grades with my art, because I just didn't compete. Like the whole education system didn't really compute with my brain when it came to like the creative side of things. But, you know, at least I could just mess around and have fun with my friends. But that doesn't mean that I'm telling you guys to mess around in school, by the way, if any of you are in school. But I just liked where I could, be myself, be creative, and have fun. I didn't mind science. Do you know about tantras in Hinduism and Buddhism? Yes, I like to learn about tantra. Hey Zaza, welcome back. How are you today? Jess. Welcome, everyone. Thank you, Hannah. Do you believe in God or the universe? Yes. I do. And I was listening to a book today by Aaron Abke. It's called The Three Beliefs of Ego. And I really liked how he explained God. He was basically like, the best way to explain God is I am. It's just like the best way that we can describe God, or not even describe, but just name God. I am. Because I am is like existing in the present moment. I don't believe in God in the sense that Christianity portrays it a lot of the time. But I do believe that God is the source of which we are expressed from. So we're always connected to God. The Untethered Soul is a good book. Yes. I did listen to that years ago. Toji, I disagree with you there because I do know what I want, okay? I think not knowing what people want is not just something for the girls' experience, it's something that a lot of us experience at different times in our lives. And there's certain practices that you can do that will help you to figure out what you want. Something that I teach a lot. Hi, Khan. G. We're talking about spirituality, so I'm just answering questions. If anyone has a question you feel called to put in the chat, then please do. Do you believe in Christianity? There's some things within Christianity that I think are really beneficial, and they are really enlightening and can help you connect with the divine. But I also think there is a lot of illusion, distortion that has manifested through the religion. And so I think we have to be very discerning when learning about these things. Do you believe in energy or God? Well, I believe that everything is energy. Isn't this already been proven in quantum physics? Everything's energy, so I guess God is energy. Have you read the book called The Secret? Yeah, I read that like 10 years ago, and I personally didn't like it that much. I thought it was really watered down spirituality and doesn't really give you the best explanations of how to manifest, like the law of attraction, because it's basically like a law of attraction book, right? But it's really, I think it can be quite misleading, honestly. I think it's very surface level, and it's a good way to maybe dip your toe in and get you into spirituality. But it's a lot deeper and more complex than The Secret makes things out to be. Do you consider God to be the goodness that resides within us all? Yes. I consider God and love to be synonyms. Like the word God and love, God is love. So anytime that we are not expressing from a place of love, then we have been overtaken by illusion, which is not God. I do like Indian food, yes. Flutter Universe, welcome to the channel. I'm doing well, thank you, my love. How are you doing, Flutter? It's good to have you here. Have you read I and Thou by Martin Buber? No, I haven't. Is it good? What's it about? Woo! Congratulations for your first camper van. Have you read Atomic Habits? Yes, I have. A few years ago. Where are you going to go in your camper van? Hey UK G85, welcome back. Nice to see ya. I and Thou is about metaphysics and our relationship to God. He fuses Kabbalah, Christianity, Hermeticism, and Gnosticism to explain how we can know God through dialogue. Interesting. I will look it up. Let me write it down. Tim, I have not hit 2K yet, but soon come. Do you do tarot reading as well? Do you know what? I do it for fun. Ah, thank you for subscribing. Yeah, I do it for fun, but why? Do you guys want me to do a little tarot reading here? Can you give me some tips about reading? I mean, if you're talking about reading about spirituality, or you're just reading in general. Amy, can you describe tarot? I've heard of it, but I have no idea about it. I can describe it for you, yes. So the tarot cards, it's really interesting actually, and it really does link with spirituality. It's basically got all of the different human archetypes in all of the different cards. So all of these different themes that we all experience at different levels, it has on all of the different cards. And so that could be stuff like relationships or your career or your purpose. Like all of these different cards have all these different symbols that relate to certain things. And so when you pull the cards, they give you a certain message. Depending on what the card is that you get, it has a certain energy and a certain frequency. Like, for example, the Death card. The Death card is a symbol for you're going through a period in your life where things are shedding away, or a version of yourself has to die. It's kind of like when a butterfly or a caterpillar is in the chrysalis and then it has to completely go through this death and rebirth. That's like what the Death card is symbolizing, that you're about to go through a transformation, or you're going through a transformation. So it's not a bad thing. It's just that this is a natural part of the human experience. So all the cards have different symbols for different things that are part of the human experience. And yeah, there's lots of different meanings. And so when you pull them out, it's especially what I usually do when I pull cards is I say a prayer and I really set the intention of what I want, of how I want the cards to reflect what I need to hear right now. And so then I trust that what comes out is what I need to hear. And if it resonates, it resonates. If it doesn't resonate, it doesn't resonate. You've got to really it's something that you can contemplate. Are there a lot of con artist psychics? I mean, probably. I think there is, yeah. I think there's dark and light in every realm, to be honest. There's illusion and distortion in every realm. Just have to be very careful and really feel into what your intuition is saying when you're interacting with someone. How does this person feel to you? That's why when we have when we've purified our mind and we go through the processes of purification through meditation and breath work or spiritual practices, whatever the spiritual practices that you like to do, we are able to see more clearly into other people's energetic field. And so you can discern better whether something is off or not when your own field is clear. But when you have a lot of illusion and distortion in your own field, it's harder to tell. And that's why you end up attracting more people or allowing more people into your life that have got a lot of distortion, because you also have a lot of distortion. It's like a mirror. When I say energy field, what I mean is your energy field is made up of all of your thoughts, your beliefs, so a belief is basically a thought that is just so firmly held in your subconscious that it has kind of taken root in there, and it's so deeply stuck in there. So your energy field is made up of all of your thoughts and your beliefs, and I guess everything that is in your body as well, because we are energy. So we have our body that is energy, and then we have our extended energy field that extends out further around us. Everything is energy. Literally everything is energy. But even thoughts are energy. How can I make good energy? Okay, there's many ways. So if you think about the vibrational scale and how we are all vibrating at a certain frequency, and everything in existence is vibrating at a certain frequency. So if you want to have good energy, you want to do things to raise your frequency and raise your vibrational frequency. And this can be done in so many different ways. One of the ways that I teach to raise your frequency and your vibration, which is a very, very powerful way, and I do this in one-to-one sessions as well. If anyone's interested, you can send me an email. It's in the description. One of the ways that I've found to be so effective at raising your frequency that not a lot of people talk about is going really, really deep into your subconscious and finding any conditioning, any beliefs that are blocking you from reaching higher frequencies. Because what happens is when you have a belief that is so deep in your subconscious and you can't even see it, that belief is vibrating at a certain frequency. And so when the belief is rooted in fear and it's completely out of alignment with your higher self, that belief is vibrating at a lower frequency. So imagine that being stuck in your body, like this ball of energy that is vibrating at a lower, denser frequency. That can get stuck, it's stuck in our bodies, and that's going to contribute to our overall frequency because we have an overall vibrational frequency, and this is made up of all of our beliefs and our conditioning and our conscious thoughts and what we're focused on. And so when we go inwards and we start to uncover beliefs that are denser, heavier, rooted in fear, then we are able to shift them into higher frequency beliefs. And that's how we end up having a much more lighter and better energy. And we start this purification process where we start to purify our beliefs and our thoughts. And this can be done over time because as we go through the spiritual journey, we are continuously uncovering more beliefs that have been accumulated over our life, over lifetimes, and passed down through our DNA from our ancestors, and also that we have accumulated from the societal conditioning and the collective conscious, because we're all tapped into and we all are connected to the collective ego, which holds many beliefs and limiting patterns. And so when we start to purify our system through many different ways, then we start to have an overall higher frequency, and we start to attract a lot more higher frequency people into our lives, or experiences, or situations. And we also have a much less lower tolerance for anything that is not an expression of love. And there's other ways that you can raise your frequency that is not to do with what I just said. Like, obviously, I was saying how subconscious reprogramming and doing shadow work, going deep into your subconscious, finding these deeply rooted beliefs is one way. But another way that you can raise your frequency is you want to start looking at your life holistically. And what that means is everything is affecting everything. So everything that you consume is affecting your frequency, especially if you're not conscious of how what you consume is affecting you. So what are you eating? What kind of diet do you have? The foods vibrate at a certain frequency. And so when we're eating foods that are harvested or they are grown in loving conditions, they're going to contain more love and light. And this might sound a bit woo-woo to some people, but everything has its own frequency, and it's been shown in a lot of studies that our intentions, especially when it comes to water, if you have seen I can't remember the guy's name now, but there's a guy that did these studies with water where he would speak to the water and send intentions into it, and the results were that he would use this water for different plants, and the plants that had the more loving intentions grew a lot better, and the ones that just got neglected and didn't have any intentions, they didn't really grow as well. So there's another lady as well that does all these studies and made this book about her studies with water and sending intentions into water. And basically what is being found out at the moment is that water holds memory, and water holds it's almost like this psychic consciousness. So, and water is in all of our food. So depending on how the water is treated, depending on how the food is treated, like if you bought meat and you're eating meat, that is going to affect your vibrational frequency versus a fruit that has grown in a really loving condition. You know, if you're eating meat that has been in this really dire condition, like in a farm factory where there is a lot of suffering, that is going to affect your vibration. So what else you are taking in through the media is going to affect your vibration as well. And so it really is a holistic thing. And then you've also got the kind of people that you're hanging around with. Like, are you hanging around with people that drain your energy a lot? That's going to affect your vibration. So that means that we need to have better boundaries, and we need to start choosing how to use our energy in a more efficient way, and in a way that is in service to not just us, but to the collective. And some other ways that you can improve your energy are by really becoming aware of your thoughts, creating more stillness in your internal world. Because a lot of the time we are thinking thoughts, and this has been proven in neuroscience, that the human mind is conditioned to look for negative things. And so when our stream of consciousness is focused on the negative, we will have a much lower vibration. And this is what is happening on a very large scale in the world, is that humans are very much focused and tuned into the more negative polarity. And our mind is set up, or it has evolved to naturally do this. So part of our work here on Earth at this current time is to start to shift how our mind naturally works. And so at the moment, it's naturally focused on the negative. We want to start to shift it to focus and look for more positive. And that doesn't mean that we completely ignore the negative. We need to be able to see both. But at the moment, we're a lot out of balance. And someone just said one negative thought creates 500,000 just like it. Exactly. When you're tuned into the negative thoughts, your subconscious is then going to look for more and more thoughts. It's because our thoughts are energy, and we are attracting, because we live in this world where everything is a law, or we live in this universe that is governed by the law of attraction. Everything, when we think a thought, we start to attract more thoughts that are in that hold the same vibration or a similar vibration, because a thought can only feed off of similar vibrating thoughts. But the good news is, with our consciousness, we are able to choose new thoughts if we want to. So part of the process of waking up and going through a spiritual awakening is realizing that you're not your thoughts. Realizing that you are not your feelings, but you are the one that is observing them. You are the one that is able to watch them, question them, choose them, and redirect your thoughts. And thank you guys for your likes. I really appreciate it. Yes, and then, sorry, so amongst the deceitful, you said what's messed up is it's easier to capitalize off people who are negative, easier to influence. And this is a textbook. Thank you for your comment. I think this is really important to talk about at the moment, because it is a textbook manipulation tactic to get someone into a state of fear in order to be able to manipulate them. This is what people do when they are afraid of someone leaving, for example. One of the textbook manipulation tactics is to put someone down, to convince someone that they are not good enough, powerless, and that they need you, or that they're never going to find anyone else. And this is what we are experiencing on a much larger scale than just like a two-way relationship. It's happening with the entities that we are depending on for survival and for life. It's an illusion though, because we can opt out of that. It's just that at the moment we are very much feeding into this paradigm that is built on fear, feeding off of our fear. And so that is why I come on to these lives, and this is why I talk about this stuff all the time, because I truly believe that the more humans that can be empowered and we can wake up to our divine potential, because we have just forgotten our divine potential and we've forgotten our divinity. We've forgotten how powerful we are. Every single one of us is so powerful because we all are the same thing at the essence. Our essence is always... Sorry, let me start that again. Everyone's essence is consciousness, is life. And so we are all equal in that, in the formless dimension, as Eckhart Tolle calls it, our pure being. We all are an expression of source, and that is our pure beingness, that part of us that resides in the present moment. But because we are so consumed and identified with our mind, with the human mind, and the human mind is very much feeding off of in a state of fear a lot of the time, looking for negatives. I lost my train of thought, but if it comes back to me, I'll continue. Yes. So someone said, amongst the deceitful, this whole system relies on people being negative. And that's basically what I was saying. But I fully forgot, to be honest, where I was, so... This is why I'm so careful with what I watch, what I take in, how I spend my energy. Because if you think of your energy like a currency and is very valuable, you have to realize that your attention is so valuable. What you're tuning into is going to have an effect and have a consequence. What you are focusing on is going to have a consequence. So when we are focused on negative thoughts for a long period of time, that is going to manifest in our life. When we are focused on trust and faith and love for a long period of time, then that is going to manifest in our life. Okay, so Stefan Emmanuel Prakesh said, how to do shadow work. Thank you for your question. There's many different types of shadow work that you can do. And shadow work is essentially becoming aware of things that you're not currently aware of. So shadows, they are things that you are not aware of. It's thoughts, conditioning, patterns, beliefs that are deep in the subconscious that are influencing your actions, influencing the people that you attract into your life, and what you tolerate and what you choose to do. So the subconscious is very powerful, and it contains a lot of these shadowy aspects of ourselves. And the reason why they are shadows is because we have, along our journey, decided to suppress a certain aspect of ourselves because maybe when we were a child, something happened and we deemed that part of ourselves to be unworthy or to be unlovable. And so we suppressed it, we pushed it down, we denied it. And through doing that, this aspect of ourselves that can never be deleted, it can never be removed because it's an aspect of you, it stays in your subconscious, but as a shadow, as something that you're not aware of. So someone else might see you as really selfish, but because you have suppressed the part of you that is selfish, you might lay in bed all day, but then deny that you have any selfishness. Sorry, that's not the right. I don't know about selfishness with laying in bed. I was thinking of laziness. You might, do things for yourself all day, but then deny that you're selfish. But we all have an aspect of us that is selfish. And the whole point is realizing that it's okay to be selfish and that we don't need to suppress that part of ourselves that we have deemed as bad. But usually it's because someone else in our life has told us that we're really selfish, for example, but they've said it to us in a negative way, as if we are bad because we did something that was selfish, did something that was, maybe it was a self-care act. And so what happened was when that person said to us that we were selfish, we decided, okay, this part of me can't be allowed. I need to deny it within myself. If I look at it, it's too painful. And so when we go on with our lives, because the aspects of ourselves that are in the shadows, they can't be deleted. Like I said, it's always going to be there. It's just something that you're not aware of. You will act it out in an unconscious way, whether that is you'll act it out when no one's looking, or you'll do selfish things, but you'll deny that it's selfish and you won't want to admit it. And sometimes that, because it's unconscious, usually it gets expressed in a more harmful way because we're not conscious of what we're doing. Whereas when we start to uncover these parts of ourselves that we have deemed as unworthy or unloved, let's just take the selfish example again. If I say to myself, okay, if I find out that I have suppressed this part of myself that likes to take care of myself and rest and be selfish sometimes, and I start to uncover it and I start to say, okay, this is a part of me. Now I can start to express this in a more healthy way. So I might then have better boundaries, for example. I might, instead of trying to, okay, this is something that we could do. If we've suppressed a part of ourselves that we deem as bad, we might end up trying to, for example, when someone asks us to do something and it's not in alignment for us to do it, or we don't want to do it. Say someone is trying to demand that I help them and I am tired, right? If I have suppressed this aspect of myself that believes that is selfish, or I believe that part of me is bad, then I'm more likely to self-sacrifice and I'm more likely to cross my own boundaries because I am scared that I'll be seen as selfish. So there's a lot of harmful things that happen when we suppress these aspects of ourselves. And I don't know if I explained that in the best way. So, but I trust that what came through was meant to come through. And so when we start to uncover aspects of ourselves and we no longer see them as bad, we no longer cast them out, then we are able to be more conscious with our actions, be more authentic with our actions, and make more high quality decisions because we are more self-aware. So there's a lot of benefits from doing shadow work. Thank you, amongst the deceitful. Have you been through the dark night of the shadow? I mean, dark night of the soul, is that what you mean? I'm guessing that's what you mean. But yes, I think that we all go through the dark nights of the souls all the time, like throughout our life. And they can be either, it could be that you go through a dark night for a long time, or you could go through a dark night for a few days. Like it could be even, I think what it is, it's like a period of time where you just feel really low and depressed and you've become really unconscious, and there's certain things that are coming up to the surface. And this is where we have a death and rebirth. The dark night of the soul is a transformational period. You're uncovering lots of really challenging beliefs that you're holding in your subconscious that are really not fun to look at. And so as this is coming up, it's really uncomfortable and painful. And sometimes we have to go through these times where everything feels so heavy because what is happening is just dark. The shadows are coming up to the surface. And so when we look at them, they are hard to look at. It's painful stuff. But yeah, I did have a dark night of the soul just before Christmas, actually. And it ended actually this year. It went on for a few months. It wasn't like so dark, but it was definitely dark in that it felt really difficult for a good few months for me. Like really felt like it was never going to end. And I was like having quite a turbulent time, ups and downs, and feeling like I was having to do so much work, and a lot of things were coming to the surface to do with my self-worth. And so these things were things that I had to look at because it was like I was being triggered all the time. And so But in that period when I was being triggered, I was able to see these patterns and these beliefs that I had that I was holding on to, and I was able to release them and work with them. So it was actually a very, very vital point in my transformation and my journey, is that I am able to completely transform and allow for this brand new version of me to take up my body through the releasing of these old patterns. And now I feel like a completely different person. Like, I feel like so much more mature, and I feel so much more confident. I feel so much more self-assured, and I have so much more self-esteem from going through that dark night of the soul and really allowing it and feeling it. And that's one thing that I am writing about in my book, because I write about this dark night in the book, is that we have to really feel. We don't have to. If we choose to feel what it is that is coming up, then we are going to shift and transform so much quicker. This is what I teach in my one-to-ones as well. I'm like actually taking people through. I also am very intuitive, so I can feel into someone's energy field. If they're telling me and talking to me about what's going on in their life, I can really sense into what it is that is keeping them stuck, and help them to unravel themselves out of it and become aware of what it is that's keeping them stuck. And as soon as you become aware of a pattern or a limiting belief, a negative limiting belief, it instantly raises the vibration of it, because you're no longer believing it anymore. You're aware of it from a different perspective, a higher perspective. And so that, say it's like a clump of energy that is in your body. Like, just imagine that a belief is like a clump of energy that is stuck in your energy field in your body. Once you become aware of it, it starts to dismantle that belief, and it can start to dissolve and just be lifted out. It's like what's happening in the process. And so that clump of energy being released is no longer like pulling your energy down. It's that, because energy doesn't, it just changes form, right? So when we change that form, then we start to feel a lot like we're in a high vibration. It's really interesting. You'll notice that things that used to trigger you won't trigger you anymore. Hey Hannah, welcome back. Guys, if you've been here before, can you tell me? I'm interested to know how many of you have already seen one of my lives. Okay, Hannah. How do we get rid of a limiting belief overnight? The first thing that's come into my mind is that we really don't want to rush the process of getting rid of beliefs, because when we do this, we add like a form of resistance. But we're actually wanting to do the opposite. We're wanting beliefs to come to the surface so that we can become aware of them. And so, saying that, the quickest way to get rid of a belief is doing shadow work. There's a process called the completion process by Till Swan. And so this is a very powerful process to shift a belief or heal a part of yourself. It's a shadow work process. It's something that I do in the one-to-ones. And so it is so powerful. And that actually I did experience a very interesting healing doing that. I wouldn't say that it was completely healed overnight, like everything, but a big chunk of it was, because I also think that we have beliefs that are connected to other beliefs. Like you'll have a belief, you might have a belief that you are, say like a belief that you're not good enough or something like that, but then that belief that I'm not good enough might have lots of different beliefs connected to it that have all been accumulated from different experiences. So when we do shadow work, we're going in and we're kind of finding all of these different beliefs and we're dismantling them one by one. So, and they might all be connected to one big limiting belief. So getting rid of one limiting belief overnight is kind of, it's a bit more complex than that. It's, if it was that simple, it would be a lot easier, but it's not that simple. Our inner world is actually very complex. What's shadow work in simple form? Shadow work in simple form is bringing the unconscious to the conscious. The shadow parts of ourselves, the way that we heal the shadow parts of ourselves is by giving them love. Because the shadow parts of ourselves are actually, they're a vibrational match to fear and the lowest vibrations, because we have suppressed them out of fear. Fear that we will not be loved if they are allowed to express. And so the antidote to fear is love. And so when we send love and compassion to these parts of ourselves, which is what I do during the shadow work processes, is to bring love and light to the shadow, which heals it. Hi, Silly Lily, welcome. We're talking about spiritual concepts. Okay, Zaza, my tarot cards are not here right now. But maybe I could go get them in a little while. Thank you for subscribing, guys. Hannah, why are you feeling overwhelmed? Ah, Decca, nice. You've seen 3. Well, welcome back. Glad that you're here. And I'm glad that you are having a blast. The subconscious mind is very powerful. It's how we completely shift our reality, is to shift the beliefs that we hold in our subconscious mind, because it's affecting everything that we do, everything that we say, everything, how we move, how we react, the actions that we choose to take or don't take, are all to do with the beliefs that we have in our subconscious mind. Have you ever heard about the pain body? Yes, banana pancakes. I have, because I love to learn from Eckhart Tolle. And I love how he describes the pain body. I think it's a really good way to understand the accumulated pain that we have that can get so triggered in certain situations. And I think that one thing I've learned on my spiritual journey is that when we do have like a pain body attack, which is how he'll describe it, this is an opportunity for us to uncover a belief that we have. The pain body is it's the parts of us that are in pain because we are believing thoughts that are out of alignment with our higher self. So when we believe thoughts that are out of alignment with our higher self, we feel pain in our body in the form of painful emotions. This is how our body is so intricately, beautifully created. It's that no thought that is out of alignment will go unmissed. Wait, does that make sense? We are always being notified when we are thinking thoughts that are out of alignment with our higher self. That is how beautiful our body is. Body has been created by God. God doesn't want us, or the universe or source gave us this beautiful instrument that is our body, that is able to notify us whenever we are thinking thoughts that are out of alignment with our higher self. So if you notice when you have a really difficult, challenging, painful emotion come up, it's because you're thinking thoughts that are negative, that are illusion, perhaps. And it's something that you have to really question. Why am I feeling like this right now? What am I thinking? What are the thoughts that are connected to the pain that I'm experiencing right now? And start to notice. See what's coming up. And this is how we begin to uncover limiting beliefs. And then this is also when you do your shadow work. So if you are experiencing a really extreme pain body attack, okay, because pain body attacks there's a spectrum. They can be really intense, or they can be just subtle. Maybe it might not be so much of an attack in that sense. It might just be that we notice some uncomfortable feelings coming up. But if we have a extreme pain body attack, like you have some really strong, uncomfortable or painful emotion coming up, this is when you want to do your shadow work on them strong, triggered moments, because that's when you're going to get the most information out of your shadow work. You're going to literally dive into it. You're going to go into that feeling, and then you start asking it questions. But the shadow work processes are specific questions, specific steps and visualizations that take you through a journey of really feeling into it, uncovering what it is saying, what it needs, and then loving it and giving it what it needs, or finding out solutions that are connected to what it needs. Do you guys want me to give you an example from one of my own shadow work practices of how something I healed when it was a part of me that was experiencing a lot of social anxiety? If you want me to tell you about that experience, I can. Night, Zaza. Thanks for coming. Warrior said, how to evade manipulation tactics. And something I learned from Eckhart Tolle, which I think is very powerful, is that a conscious person cannot be manipulated. Because when someone is manipulating you, they are saying things to you, or maybe they are doing things that are pulling on your limiting beliefs about yourself or your self-concept. So when we become, when someone triggers us, when someone is, like, say for example, let's use someone that might be guilt tripping you. Guilt tripping is a form of emotional manipulation. You can sense that maybe someone doesn't want to do something for you, and so you start to guilt trip them into doing it. So if you are really a very conscious person, you will feel that guilt, and you will notice that that guilt is connected to, if this guilt is connected to this belief that, like, I am bad if I don't do what this person says, right? If you're unconscious of that, you're going to just act out that belief. Whereas if you're a conscious person, you'll see that thought come up and then you'll question it. Okay, is that actually true though? Am I a bad person if I don't do what this person says? No, I just don't want to do it. It's not like they're just trying to manipulate me. They're trying to make me feel like I'm bad. And that is not in alignment with how I want my relationships to be. So in order to be free of manipulation, you have to become very conscious. Be present. Okay, someone keeps asking me, what do I believe about the Bible? What I believe about the Bible is that, and I was actually listening to a book about this today. A couple of the books, or a couple of the things that I listened to today actually mentioned the Bible. And so I believe that there were, like, for example, Jesus, people that came onto earth and spread a lot of wisdom, spiritual wisdom. And so that was put in the Bible. And I also believe that the Bible contains a lot of distorted messages that have been put there by people that are unconscious, greedy, and want to manipulate and control. And so I think the Bible contains both light and dark. And I think that it has very important spiritual messages that can be interpreted through the lens of oneness. And I also think that the Bible can separate. So it's interesting that it can do both. And it depends, I guess, what you are resonating with and what you choose is the truth for you. I think it's important to question what we read and to question how it makes us feel. Be conscious when we're reading and taking these things in. Because a lot of the time I think there's stuff in the Bible or in Christianity that is being used to put people into a state of fear. Funky monkey, am I late? Hun, you're never late. It's divine timing. Okay, so someone said, my girl left me. I must be unworthy. So a lot of the time when we have relationships or someone rejects us, it's a very common for us to start to go into this spiral of, for one, what happens is, let's say someone rejects you and it triggers in you this instant, just emotional reaction of like feeling so low and maybe insecure. And like you said, you think that you're unworthy. So what's happening? When the pain body is triggered, it's almost like when you drop ink into a glass of water. It can just consume your whole energy field, especially when it's a really strong belief. It can feel like there is no, it's just like your whole energy field has been clouded up with this belief. And so in that moment, when you have noticed that you have this pain body attack that is so strong, you want to start to train yourself to bring in your attention, because what's happening now is you're spiraling and you have that initial thought, the initial trigger that's triggered that pain body that is dormant somewhere in your body. It's a belief that is dormant in your body at that time. But then that person or that situation that came along, and in this case, we were talking about rejection, triggered you. So now what's happening is your energy field is going to be in this vibration that is going to start attracting all these thoughts that are in alignment with this negative belief. I am unworthy. Let's say that the core belief is I am unworthy. I am unworthy of love. Now that if you're unconscious and you've completely lost the present moment and your mind is just, your stream of consciousness is focused on all of the reasons why you're not unworthy, this is what your subconscious starts to do. It starts to look for all the reasons that I might be unworthy. And these are all contained in your self-concept. So it's not even what the other person is actually thinking. They might have rejected you for like their own reason. It might be that they are just, I don't know, it could be anything, honestly. But what happens is the spiral takes us on this journey of looking for all the reasons why we think that we're not worthy. And so in that moment, I don't know if you guys have experienced this. It's like you start to, I mean, I'm sure many people have experienced this. You start to think of, okay, maybe it's this, maybe it's that, maybe it's that I'm not good enough in this area, maybe it's that I'm too skinny, maybe it's that I did my breath smell that day that I saw them, and then you start thinking of all these things. So now what's happening is your stream of consciousness is focused on anything that it can think of about yourself that is negative. And so you can imagine that when you're thinking about all these things that you think are negative about yourself, you're going to feel like absolute crap, because our thoughts are always creating emotion. This is the beauty of our system that I was telling you earlier. It's a beautiful thing that our thoughts are creating emotion, because the emotion is trying to tell us, wake up, you're thinking thoughts that are out of alignment. And so of course we're going to feel crap when we go on a spiral where we are literally trying to find negative things about ourselves, which aren't true. We're believing that they're true in that moment. We're like, it must be this, it must be that, it must be this, it must be that. So what we want to do in that moment is bring all of our attention into the feeling. Because in that moment, your stream of consciousness has gone on walkies. It's gone on a whole trip of, it's like in the driver's seat, and it is trying to find all this stuff, and it is attracting all of these thoughts. So you need to bring your attention, you need to start to direct your mind back into where it is that you feel this energy, where you feel this emotion. And when you do that, you stop the cycle of the thoughts. You stop the cycle of the thoughts creating emotion and the emotion creating the thoughts. You put a halt to it. Because the stream of consciousness can only be focused in one place at a time. Your full stream of consciousness. So if you bring your full stream of consciousness, direct your mind into one place. It doesn't even have to be the feeling, but that's the way I do it, is how I get the most insights out of when I get a pain body attack or trigger. Or you could also focus on something else, like the sound of the birds, or you could focus on some incense, a smell. That can be very helpful. Anything to bring you back into the present moment. Because what's happened is you've become completely unconscious. So you need to bring yourself back into the present moment and then practice just staying there. And if the pain body attack is really bad, and you're, even when it's not bad, I do this when it's even subtle, is to send love to that area. Say to yourself, I'm completely here with you now. I'm completely here with you now. That's what I do. And I notice that when I do that, and I'm having these thoughts that are, let's say I notice these thoughts come up that are connected to my self-concepts that are negative. When one comes up and I say to myself, I'm completely here with you now, I'm instantly back in my higher self, because I'm the higher self telling the pain, I'm completely here with you now. And so it's lifted me back into a higher vibration. And now I see the thought for what it is. It's a thought. And I can question it. Is this true? Is there proof that suggests otherwise? And then if I want to believe a new thought, like let's say that I want to believe that like something that I wasn't really believing before, and it's something that I know I need to believe in order to manifest something. Like, for example, I need to believe that, for example, people care what I say, right? I used to believe that no one cared what I had to say. And when I believed that, no one listened to me. No one really cared. But there was a few people that did. And so and what was happening in my mind is that because I believed this thought of no one cares what I have to say, my subconscious was constantly looking for proof that no one cared what I had to say. And this was very painful. And so when I became aware of this, that this was a limiting belief I had through doing shadow work and doing lots of reflective questioning and going deep into when I had this dark cloud over me at one point, and I realized that I traced it back to this core belief of no one cares what I have to say. And that was a belief that I accumulated when I was a kid, when I was at school and I was experiencing this difficult moment when I was at school with my peers. And I remember I went into the shadow work and this memory surfaced, and I was at school and I remember thinking, no one cares what I have to say. And I was really young. And so I carried that belief on throughout my whole life. And as you can imagine, as I wanted to become a spiritual teacher, that was getting in the way of what I was doing a lot, because I would just constantly be up against this pain of just feeling like no one even cares. So why am I even bothering to do this? Even though my higher self is like trying to tell me, there's certain things that you need to do. Like there's certain things that we want to do. And in order to move forwards and become the best version of yourself and achieve what you want to achieve, this limiting belief of no one cares what I have to say is completely blocking me from doing that. And so I had to do this work, and I eventually uncovered this belief, and I realized that was a belief I had. And so when it came to changing that belief, I needed to start to have the belief or acquire the belief that people care what I have to say. And so that was really difficult in the beginning, because it was like, how can I believe that when I believe that no one cares, and this is being reflected in my experience, which is what is happening to us? How am I now going to shift into this belief that people care what I have to say? So what I did was I started to look for tiny moments in my life that belief was validated, that people care what I have to say. Okay, so it might be that something small, like, okay, spending time with my little cousin, and he tells me that he loves spending time with me and he loves to chat to me. That is proof that someone cares that what I have to say. And in that moment, it's very small. And it's maybe not really related to what I was trying to create this belief for, but it adds to the belief, and it starts to add. When you start to find proof for a new belief, what happens is your subconscious then starts to look for more proof. And this is the amazing power of our subconscious, okay? So in the beginning, it started off with like little drips and drabs, okay? Like little things. And I would do, like, I used to do my moon ceremonies, for example, and I found that really difficult, because I'd be like, when I first started doing ceremonies for people, I would find it difficult because that belief of no one cares what I have to say would come up before I did it. So I'd get really nervous, and I'd be like, no one's even going to want to listen to what I'm saying. I'm talking about astrology. Like, no one cares about this stuff. And then I would do a moon ceremony, and there'd be like 1 or 2 people in the ceremony in the beginning, and they would be listening, and they would tell me after, Amy, that was really good, and I that really helped me. And so I started to create this folder, and this folder was specifically for my new belief that people care what I have to say. And so I would screenshot when someone said to me that something I said had helped them, and I would put that into my folder of proof that people care what I have to say. And so over time, I started to release this belief of no one cares what I have to say. And now anytime that belief comes up, I'm like, okay, but I can prove that this is wrong, and I can prove that this is not true just by getting my folder out. And like, for example, my comments on YouTube, if I get a comment on YouTube, especially when I was working on this belief in the beginning, and it was really like deeply rooted in there, so it was a difficult one to change. In the beginning, I would print out every single comment that I got on YouTube, and I would put it in my folder, and I would read them every day. So, and this is the power, guys, that we have when we encourage each other. Like, I would get comments from people that were saying like, Amy, your video really helped me. And I'd be like, thank you, God, like for this person that has commented this, because they really are adding to my new belief. And so when we encourage each other and we put love out into the world, and we share like genuine experiences that someone else has helped us, we have so much power, guys. Like, just telling someone what you love about them, what you cherish about them, how they have improved your day in that day is it has so much power to just influence someone else's self-concept. Like, I'm constantly telling people when they actually have impacted me, or even a little thing that they said. Like, someone said to me last night that they were watching my live, one of my friends, and he was saying that he found it like really impressive, like the way that I was talking. And so I was like, wow, like that's really such a lovely reflection, and I'm so grateful for that. So I told him the next day, like, I'm so grateful for your reflection. So yeah, we have such an impact on each other, but also it also brings up the thing of being kind of like, you can use other people's reflections to prove your new beliefs. And you can also use, because there will be sometimes times where people do say things that are in contradiction to that belief. Like, sometimes I get comments on here that are not loving. And so what I do is I use those comments to show me when I have a limiting belief. Like, if someone says something in the comments and it triggers something in me, that is an opportunity for me to uncover something. What is it that is being triggered? What is this belief that is being triggered? You know? If you are enjoying this live, guys, please can you hit the like button and subscribe if you want to, if you feel called to, so that you don't miss any other lives. I'm going live and I'm going to be posting videos as well. So if you're enjoying and you're getting value out of it, then please do, because it really helps my channel. And yeah, I would just really appreciate it, honestly. Okay, how do I manifest more cash, Hannah? Is what you said. Okay, money. There's lots of different things that you can do to manifest money, like doing different spiritual practices. Like, so many things are coming to my mind right now. One is you want to start tuning into the frequency of abundance. And you can do this by simply looking around, going into nature, noticing the abundance on the planet. Okay, so that's one way that you can tune into the frequency of abundance. Also, you can do visualizations where you're literally seeing money coming into your auric field, your energy field, or just into your body. There's a meditation that I really like to do where you literally imagine that you're breathing money in. And then what you do is, once you've had that experience of feeling like you're breathing money in, you then visualize all the things, because once you have loads of money, you've got to put it somewhere. So you want to then visualize, where are you going to put this money? What are you going to do with it? What are you going to buy with it? How does it feel once you already have those things that you're going to use that money for? Okay? The next way that you can manifest money is by having a goal of how much money you want to make. And then you want to have a clear plan for what you're going to give in return for that money. And this is why, as well, I like to say this prayer every day of, please show me how I can be of service in a way that is in harmony with my nature. Because we have so much value. Every single human being has so much value that can create money, because there are things that we can do that people need. Attracting money is all about filling people's needs, meeting other people's needs. We all have different needs, and we all have different ways that we can be of service. So it's like a puzzle piece. You find those things ways that you can be of service, and then you notice when people need something, when people need help with something, they need a service or they need a product or whatever it is, and then you serve them in the way that they need to be served. That's how we make money. And I have many different ways that I make money. And this was always my intention from years ago. It's like, I will have multiple sources of income through doing things that I enjoy. And this is how I will live a fulfilled life. And also the people will benefit from that. Anyone that is paying for one of my services is going to have a good experience with it, because I'm doing it from a place of really loving what I'm doing. Really caring about it. It's something that is natural to me. And so I know, and I am confident that when I provide this service to whoever is in need of what I am offering, it's going to be good value. Okay, Hannah. Okay, one second. Before I read yours, Someone said, all you need to do is increase your inner frequency and channel a higher spiritual self. Yes, exactly. Okay, Hannah, sending love back to you as well. Thank you, hun. I'm so tired, but I can't let myself rest. Okay. This is something that I experience a lot. Why can't you let yourself rest? Have you asked yourself this question? Why is it that when you try to rest, you notice that you're thinking a lot? That you're not actually in a relaxed state? Have you tried meditating? What do you think about learning in isolation, Amy? I think that solitude is a very beneficial thing. And I think that us to be able to be comfortable in solitude and for us to enjoy our own company is important. But we can get very out of balance if we do that too much and if we depend on ourselves too much. We are a dependent species. We are a species that is very sociable. And so, yes, it's important that you can enjoy your solitude and that you can be comfortable with being alone. But also, if you have the need to be around other people, then call that in. Find ways to be around other people when the time is right. Planning to see people and calling in people that are right for you or that are energizing for you. And so I think it's important to have balance, honestly. Balance of both. Because when we depend too much on having company all the time, we might end up inviting in energies, company that is not conducive to it doesn't serve us. It might be draining for us. It might be that the person isn't treating us as well. So when we get dependent on being around people all the time, we might allow for certain relationships that are painful, for example, and they're not actually good for us. So that's why it's important for us to be able to be in solitude when it's necessary, when there isn't actually any choice. We actually have to be in solitude for that moment, or we choose to go in solitude to do meditation, to do our shadow work, or we can also do this with things with other people as well. So it really depends on the person. How much time do you need on your own versus being with other people? I really like both. I really, really like to be on my own, but I really, really, really like to be with other people as well. Especially when it's the right people. And I need to let the dog out. 1 second. I'll take you guys with me. People always ask me, where are my eyebrows? And guys, can you not see my eyebrows? They're blonde. Betty, you want wee-wees? Betty. Come on. You got wee-wees. Come. Okay, cool. Guys, if you are here and you're enjoying this live, hit the subscribe button or like. Just to help go out, you know. Hannah, I was reading one of your long messages and then it went, but I think you said something about you isolated yourself from your family because they were seeing an older version of you. I think sometimes we do need to take time away from our family, like for periods of time. Sometimes we might need to, or just see them a little bit less in order to like mature. And then we can come back when we feel better, you know? No, sometimes we just need a little bit of space. And be around people that we can be authentic around. That's really important, is to find people that you can actually be your authentic self around. Sometimes it doesn't feel like we can be authentic around. Like if we feel like we need space from people, it's probably because we're not able to be authentic around them, or we're not being authentic around them. Thank you, guys. Okay, Hannah, what I would suggest to you is to read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Like literally buy that book and start reading it, because that's such a good book for manifesting money. And then do what it says and it will help you to start. You need to write down what date you want to get that 2,000. Okay, so let's say it's in a month. You need £2,000 by next month. Write down the date that you're going to have that money by, and then come up with a plan of how you're going to get this money. You might want to do a higher self visualization as well. Visualize yourself being the version of yourself that has manifested that money. And then you can get inspiration from those visualizations of what kind of actions are you going to be taking in order to get that money. Your higher self, like imagine yourself in that alternate timeline where you have received that money already. And then ask that version of yourself, what did you do to get that money? Because there's always going to be actions that you need to take. And you can come up with different creative ways of how you can make the money. Good night, Liam. Thank you for joining today. Do you go live every day, Amy? Not every day, but I have been going live a lot. Most days. Recently. Tim, I didn't see your follow on Instagram. Did you follow the right Instagram? What's your handle? What if somehow I love everyone? What do you mean? Amy, do you believe manifesting money is possible? Yes, of course I do. We're always, like, the way that you're getting your money right now is how you're manifesting money. It's just changing how you manifest it. Doing different things to manifest it. You have to change your beliefs about how money can be manifested. And yes, Hannah, definitely asking the universe for help is a good idea. I ask for help all the time. I ask for assistance, or I actually say thank you for guidance. Is how I usually word it. Thank you for guiding me towards this, or this. And then I listen. Go into my meditations and I listen to what my higher self is saying. Quiet my mind and really listen. I also don't agree with, someone said that the love of money is the root of all evil. I don't think so. I think that money is just energy. And so if you want to call in money, then I would say have a good relationship with it. I always, whenever I receive money, I say, thank you. I love you, money. Thank you. I'm so happy. Like, money comes to me easily and effortlessly, just like repeating these affirmations to myself and having a good relationship with money. Otherwise, you're going to push it away. Okay. Does anyone want to see the dog? I'm trying to get to the bottom of these comments. And guys, if you like this kind of content and you like spirituality, then you can also follow me on Instagram if you get value out of this stuff. I'm always posting. It's the same handle as my YouTube, Amy Louise Samp. How do we have the courage to become authentic? Thank you for your question, Hannah. you have to just start doing things that make you scared. And the more you do them, the less scary they become. It's always the things, like, it's always fear that's holding us back from being authentic. So I always think of it like following my fear. Like if I notice a fear come up, it's like if I notice I want to do something, but then there's fear there, I try to understand first, what is this fear? Where is it coming from? Work with it, clear that resistance, and then do what it is that makes me scared. And then the more you do that, the more easier it will become to be authentic, because you'll realize that it was never, what you were scared of wasn't going to happen anyway, most of the time. Like we over project so much with our fear. Like when I first started my YouTube channel, for example, like posting one video was so scary. And now I've posted hundreds of videos and I'm on live all the time. And it's like anything I was scared of is like so ridiculously small compared to like the actual journey. There is so much more positives that I've gotten out of anything that I'm doing and really like pushed forwards through the fear. I've never read Psychology of Money, no. Okay, someone said, sis, I just got dumped. Our relationship has been going on for almost 5 years. Do you think we can still get back together? Thank you for your question. I don't know if you can still get back together because I don't know the situation. So, would you be able to share more details? Like, why did you break up? What's the situation right now? Are you speaking? Hey, Ahmed, welcome back. It's nice to see you. Oh, guys, sometimes it looks like I freeze, but I don't freeze. I'm just being really still. What's the name of the book you were reading yesterday? It was called A Return to Prayer by Marianne Williamson. Really good book. Amy, how do you recommend how to get out of living in survival mode? Thank you for your question. I think when you're in survival mode, you've become unconscious and you need to bring yourself back to the present moment. You need to look around at the space that you're currently in and realize that you are most likely, for most of us, most of the time, in the current present moment, everything is fine and everything is safe when you really look around, and you most likely have what you need in this moment. If you don't, then that's when you need to do something about it to change that. But if you're constantly living in survival mode all the time, it's because you're thinking about what could go wrong, or you're in this mindset of what you haven't got. So you want to start switching your thinking to this present moment and start noticing the things that are going well. Start noticing, it can be the smallest things like, okay, I'm so grateful that I have a roof over my head right now. I'm so grateful that I have a bed to sleep in right now. I'm so grateful that I was able to eat these grapes today. Just starting to switch your consciousness from what you haven't got to what you have got, and the small things that are contributing to your life in a positive way. Essential tendency, you got to know what cake you want in order to make it happen. Yes, I 100% agree. You have to know what you want in order to manifest. Otherwise, your energy's gonna be all over the place. Tim, I didn't see your follow on Instagram. What's your handle, hun? Thank you, Wilbur. Uday said, what kind of content do you make? I make content that's all to do with spirituality, self-development, self-empowerment, healing. Thank you, everyone, for your comments. If you haven't hit the like button yet, then please do, because I feel it says 98 right now, so we could get to 100. If you're getting any value from this. Okay. Okay. What's the quickest way to get rid of our limiting beliefs? I already answered this one earlier, Hannah. And I was saying that doing shadow work, I would say, is the quickest way. My name is Amy, my love. How do I deal with despair? Oh, thank you for your question, Paul. Sending you a hug. You want to really send yourself compassion. And the way that you do that is by directing your mind and your thoughts into where are you feeling this despair in your body? Can you feel it in your body? Can you locate it in your body right now? Is it in your belly? Okay. So if it's in your heart, then send your attention to your heart, where you feel that feeling, and just breathe into it. Just obviously imagining that you're using your breath to send your attention into your heart. And just say to yourself, I'm completely here with you now. I'm completely here with you now. Just keep repeating that. Because a part of you that is in despair is in pain, so you want to send it love. And I'll just keep repeating that to yourself over and over again for as long as you want. I'm completely here with you now. And I'll put my hand over my heart as well. And really imagine that really feel that you are sending yourself love in this moment. And can we all just take a moment as well to imagine sending Paul some love to his heart, because he has a feeling of the broken heart. And so we can all do that for him right now. Just imagine light coming out of your heart and going outwards into... You can send it to anyone you want, but you can imagine sending it to Paul as well. Like looking at his handle and then just seeing what comes up and sending it out to him. Because we're all connected through the spiritual realms. Someone said, how do I fix myself if they broke me since I was little? Well, that's what we're literally talking about throughout all my lives, pretty much. Healing. It really depends, like certain situations, certain triggers, certain experiences are going to depend on what healing practice that we use. This is part of spiritual maturity, is knowing what to use. And this is what spiritual teachers do. It's like if you go to a doctor, the doctor is going to know what is the best medication for you. If you go to a spiritual teacher, they're going to know what is the best healing practice for you. That's what I do in my one-to-ones. I really listen to what someone's going through. I feel into their experience. And then I choose and I intuitively know which healing modality or practice is going to be best for them in that moment, or the ones that I use. You're welcome, Paul. Sending you love. Do you do Reiki healing? No, I don't. Apart from on myself, I do. But I've never been like trained in Reiki or anything. I just naturally started doing Reiki when I started meditating, and then I started learning about psychic healing, and I was like, oh, that's something I already do. And so it comes naturally to me, but I've never trained in Reiki. Maybe one day I will, but I don't know. Guys, we're at 99 likes. Can someone get that to 100, please? Thank you. If you are enjoying this live and you're getting value out of it, then I would much appreciate. Yay! Thank you. Thank you, my loves. Remember, you're a person who can accomplish anything you put your mind to. Yes. What if someone is suffering from trauma? You know, something that we discussed in the meditation teacher training that I did before was trauma. And we were talking about how trauma is actually something that we've all experienced on some level. But there are obviously traumas that are seen as, they can be seen as more intense, but also something can be really traumatic for us that someone else wouldn't have been really as traumatized by. So it is very individual when it comes to trauma. Paul, is there a name for that type of exercise? I mean, sending compassion into yourself, it's like a loving kindness meditation. There is a whole meditation, I think it's in Buddhism, I can't remember. But they call it loving kindness. And so that practice is self-compassion, the one I just told you. It's a form of self-compassion. But you could also go onto YouTube and type in loving kindness meditation and go through a whole meditation where you're actually like visualizing yourself feeling love in your heart, and then you can send it out to other people as well. And it's beautiful because when you send love out to others, you are the source of that love. So when you do this frequently, you realize that this is happening throughout your whole day. You're either expressing love or you are withholding love. When we are withholding love, we're withholding love from ourselves and others. So when we start to express love and give out our love, be in service to others, we are automatically being in service to ourselves and being loving towards ourselves as well, because we're a source of it. So we feel it first, basically. What is spiritual teaching? I would say, thank you for your question, Vishal. I would say that spiritual teaching is teachings that help to shift your state of consciousness. Thank you, Decca. Do you believe in God? Yes, I do. I believe that God is source and we are all expressions of the one source. And so we're all connected. We're all the same thing in essence. Do you have any techniques for overcoming insomnia? I haven't personally experienced insomnia, so I don't have the most experience with that. But one thing I do know that comes to my mind that might help you, so I'll tell you anyway, is that if you do body scan meditations before bed, if you type in YouTube body scan meditations, or what's it called in yoga? Can't remember. But they are really good meditations for sleep. Okay, goodbye, Hannah. Thank you for your contribution. Love to you. Hugs to you. How to deal with procrastination. Okay, thank you for your question. So when we are procrastinating, it's because we are avoiding something. We are avoiding something within us. It's a resistance. So what you can think of is procrastination is a form of resistance, right? And the way that I deal with procrastination is when I notice that I'm procrastinating, I ask myself, why am I procrastinating right now? Because there's something that I'm avoiding internally, an emotion, which is connected to a belief that I am avoiding through procrastinating. I'm distracting myself. It's a form of distraction, right? So what am I distracting myself from? Procrastination is a really good opportunity to uncover a limiting belief that you have, or to uncover a need that you have that you're not willing to look at in this moment, or because if that need is looked at, it might mean that you need to change something in your life that you didn't want to change, that you're scared to change. Again, you're uncovering a limiting belief that is rooted in fear, or a thought that is rooted in fear. So you want to ask yourself, why am I procrastinating? And then listen to what comes up. You can go into like a little meditation, or close your eyes, or you do it with your eyes open, or journal it out. Ask yourself why I'm procrastinating, see what comes up for you. And depending on the answer is going to depend what you do next, because you want to listen to the parts of yourself and you want to question which parts are true for you, for your higher self. What's the truth? Are you procrastinating because you genuinely want to do something else? Then maybe it's wise to do something else. Are you procrastinating because you believe that what it is that you're meant to be doing is going to fail? Then I would question that. Why do I think it's going to fail? Is it true that it's going to fail? If it is, then what do I need to do to believe that it will not fail? If I'm procrastinating because I don't think I'm good enough, then do I want to align with that belief and keep on procrastinating? Or do I want to choose a new belief that I am good enough, and then find ways to improve my self-concept so that I do believe that I'm good enough? You see? So when we're procrastinating, there's a massive opportunity there to uncover shadow parts of ourselves that we need to uncover in order to release anything that is blocking us from what it is that we want to manifest. Sharika said, what are you talking about? Well, right now we're talking about limiting beliefs and manifestation, I guess. Welcome to the chat. Meta meditation. Yes. Thank you, banana pancakes. I love the meta meditation. So powerful. Rohan, thank you for your comment. Appreciate it. Okay, usually we love who serve us and not who we serve. How do you deal with that? Well, I would ask myself, like, why do you not love who you are serving? What's going on there? Like, what's the reason? Thank you, Hannah. Have a good night. Grateful for you as well. What is the right age of being in a relationship? We're actually all in relationships all the time. We're in relationship with ourselves. We're in relationship with lots of other beings, and we're in relationship with the earth. We're in relationship with animals, with our relationship to objects, money. But you're asking me what's the right age to be in a romantic relationship, which I don't know the answer to that question. Straight up. Froggy Blocks, I did have a good day. Thank you. You know, someone said that's because Jesus says no one can serve two masters, or will love one and hate the other. Do you know what I think he's actually pointing to there? Is your consciousness cannot serve both love and fear at the same time. You're either tapped into fear, you're either feeding fear or you're feeding love. You're either expressing fear or you're expressing love. I feel like I need to scroll down because there's so many comments. There we go. Okay. Thank you, Balajashil. I'm sorry if I said your name wrong. Thank you, Freshman 1994, for being here today and contributing to the chat. Yeah, I do know Spider-Man. I love Spider-Man. Where is everyone from, guys? Any experience with channeling? Well, I watched this video once. This guy said that we're all constantly channeling all the time. It's like our thoughts, our manifestations, our words are channeled from a certain frequency. What we're tapped into in the spiritual realm is being manifested through the physical. And so we're all channeling. It's just what is it that you are currently tapped into that you are channeling from? And some people are tapping into, they say, like entities or extraterrestrials or some things. Whereas I sometimes find that when I am talking, I'm channeling my higher self. And so I get into these states where I'm meditating, where I meditate first, and then I'm able to have a clear channel from my higher self. It's like when someone asks me a question and I'm trying to be still and listen to what's coming through. But no, I don't have any experience with like channeling entities. Guys, if you get any value from this live, please do subscribe, and so you won't miss it, and it will help my channel to grow, because I'm trying to hit 2K. So thank you. If you're enjoying and if you feel called. Okay, someone said explain how to like sinners instead of hate them. I mean, what I would say is that when someone does something, because this is what Eckhart Tolle said, right? Is that sin it's anything that is causing harm to yourself or to others. That could be thoughts, words, or actions that cause harm to yourself or others. And so we all sin. We all do things that sometimes cause harm to ourselves or to others. We all think thoughts that cause harm to ourselves and to others. So we can't really just call someone else a sinner, because we're all doing these things. We all are experiencing, and we all have demons. We all have our own limiting conditioning and patterns that are harming us or harming others when we're unconscious. And so in order to have more compassion for others, you really start to see these qualities within yourself. Like if you see something that you really don't like in someone else, it's because you aren't able to see that within yourself. It's actually a very good way to uncover unconscious like shadows, is when you get like a strong like repulsion against or resistance, like not liking something in someone else, or it makes you cringe, or you just really dislike it. Try to find that aspect in yourself. Like where in your life do you sometimes maybe even think thoughts that are similar to like what that person is like reflecting to you? You can find a lot out about yourself by doing that, because usually stuff that we don't want to admit that we would ever even think about. And that can help to release a lot of resistance and can help you to raise your vibration. How to deal with social anxiety. Okay. So, social anxiety is something that I talk a lot about on my channel, because I have had a lot of experience with it and am recovering from it. And I still occasionally experience a little trigger where I get a little bit socially anxious, but very rarely now. Whereas it used to be my life. I used to feel like so scared to get on the bus, or I was so scared to speak in public. I would shake. I would have trauma responses where my whole body would go into like this panic of sweat and shakiness, and I couldn't speak, and then I'd be so embarrassed, and it was the worst. So obviously you just like don't want to even go to places, because I was just scared that it was going to happen. So it was a whole ordeal that was not fun. And so I healed from it, and I started to really learn how to heal from it. And one of the ways that I did that was through shadow work. And so what I would do was, when I noticed this trauma response come up, it's a pain body attack, as Eckhart Tolle would describe it as, is that something inside of me is being triggered. It's a part of me that has not been resolved. So when you get a social anxiety attack, you want to put all of your attention, take your mind, direct your mind into where it is in the body that you're feeling it. And then you want to do shadow work processes on it, like the completion process, which is a process that Teal Swan does. Okay, she wrote a whole book on it. And it's one of the processes that I take people through on one-to-ones. This is going to basically change your memory of what happened when you were younger, and start to just dissolve the beliefs that are attached to the social, to the trauma. And when you do this, you start to clear it away. And so when you come to the social experience next time, you will not feel that trigger anymore. You'll notice that, wow, okay, this is actually cleared. Like, I don't have the same trigger anymore. It's really, really interesting. I can't really talk you through the whole process right now because it's quite in depth. So if you want to go into it deeper, send me an email and let me know that you want to do this process for social anxiety, and I can help you through it at a much deeper level. It's so much easier for me to do that with you one-to-one than on here, where I haven't got many details about your social anxiety or what it is that you're feeling, and I can't take you through the whole process. I can just point you towards ways that you can do it yourself or resources that you can find. But if you want extra support on it and you want to go deeper and you really want to shift those blocks, then email me. And if you feel called to work with me one-to-one, then we can chat about it. And it'll be very powerful. Someone said, please read this book. It changed my life. The Surrender Experiment by Michael Singer. Yes, I read that. I listened to it on Audible. Very good. Eckhart Tolle is good, but this one is a real example which resonated with me more. Yeah, I love Eckhart Tolle, though. He really resonates with me. Yes. Someone said, usually it's something I didn't like in myself. It's always a relationship with myself. Yes. Do you believe in God? Yes, I do. I believe that we are all aspects or expressions of God. God is the one ultimate source, the everything, the accumulation of everything in all of existence. And we are like little beams of light that shine out from God, and we get to express in our unique way. That's how I see God. Thank you, Helge Horgan. What is your favorite subject? I mean, let me just wipe this. I don't know if it's actually dirty. I probably should have done this earlier. My favorite subject is spirituality, philosophy, the meaning of life, why we came to Earth, purpose, manifestation. These are my favorite subjects. The human experience through archetypes. It's all so much fun. I love to discuss these deep topics. I love having a conversation with someone and just like diving deep into their soul. Like really, I always like, whenever someone's in a conversation with me, it always gets so deep. I can't help it, honestly, because I can see into people's like energy field, and like, so I'm really asking questions to get deep in there, and it's so fun. And we got to 111 likes. Yay. If you haven't subscribed, guys, and you feel called to watch more of this stuff, you're getting value from this, please do to help my channel out. I will be very appreciative. I have not read the Dune books, no, but I watched the Dune movies so far and I liked it. Difference between God and nature. I don't think there is a difference because I think that nature is an expression of God. God is nature. Nature is God. It's just how it's just God is the accumulation of everything or the source of everything, and then nature is the expression of God. I don't know. Is there, I feel like they're the same thing, no? What makes you sure that God is real? Okay, I love this question because I used to really not believe so much, or I was very skeptical when I was younger. And so what I did was when I started learning about spirituality is I was like, there was this little part of me, and I think it was my higher self that was like telling me, why don't you just experiment and just see what happens when you speak to God? See what happens when you do spiritual practices or manifestation practices. And so I saw it as like a little science experiment. And so for the last 10 years, I've been doing that. And I've gotten to the point now where I'm like, my belief is like, I am so humbled and like, I feel like I'm so grateful because like I just feel like my connection with God is so strong now because of all those experiments that I did practicing different spiritual practices of meditation and praying and listening and like having faith. I'm just like, there's no way God isn't real because like I just see so many blessings when I really do tune in with God. Hallelujah. You're saying that God is collective consciousness. Did I catch that right? Okay. Do I think God is collective consciousness? Not necessarily, you know. I don't know. I don't actually know the answer to that question. But I do think that we have I don't know how to answer that question, so I'm not going to do it. But I do think that because we are all aspects of God, we're all expressions of God, we're all connected in the spiritual realms. So I guess we're all connected through the collective consciousness. But I also think, is collective consciousness not just like, wouldn't that just be human consciousness? Because the collective, we're pointing to like our human collective, right? So technically that wouldn't be God because that's not everything. What do you think? Questioning here. Someone said, what do you like to do the most? I can't pick one thing. I like variety. I love to wake up in the morning and meditate and look into the sun. And by the way, guys, looking into the sun is a really good way to start downloading more wisdom. And I know it sounds ridiculous. It might sound really woo-woo and silly, but there are codes that the sun is emitting that when you take them into your eyes, you actually receive wisdom and you receive information. So looking into the sun in the morning is one thing I like to do. And I've been doing that for years now. And so I also like to dance and sing and go into nature. And I like to chat to my friends and I like to connect with people. I love to connect with people. And I love to learn. And I love to create. What is the meaning of your life? The meaning of my life is to come to earth and to serve in the way that is in harmony with my nature. Thank you for your question. What do you think about non-vegan food and vegan food or veg food? Food habits, are they related to God? My answer is yes, and I would like to know your answer. I'm vegan. Personally, okay, I'm a flexi vegan because I do eat mostly vegan food, but I might like have some milk here and there, or like in a biscuit or something if someone offers me a biscuit, or if I go out somewhere and the options for vegan food aren't very good, then I might be flexible and have some vegetarian food. But I do think that this is a very big subject, and I personally do believe that when we are in alignment with our higher selves or with God, we would not choose to cause harm or suffering to another being. And so for me, it is an alignment to eat vegetarian food or vegan food because no animals have been harmed in the making of this food. And so I don't want to contribute to the suffering of the animals. That is something that I really deeply feel. Like, I cannot eat meat anymore because I just get flooded with images in my mind of animals suffering, and I don't want to contribute to it. Would you try ayahuasca? Yes. I'm actually calling it in this year. Not this year, this decade. I've been speaking to the ayahuasca plant, or the ayahuasca, there's 2 plants actually, I think. Or is there maybe one that's mixed with another one? I can't remember. But I have been calling it in, and I will be doing it in the next, hopefully 5 years. Hopefully less, but I trust that if it's meant to happen, it will happen, and it will come to me at the right time. Faho, what's all this about? I have an opinion on everything. Share your opinions, please. We're talking about spirituality. What do you think about spirituality and dreams? Oh, thank you for your question, Lucas. I think that our dreams are a manifestation of our subconscious, and so that they are really, really good for understanding and becoming more aware of ourselves. And I also think that dreams are not just I think that dreams can also cross over into, like, you can travel to different planets in your dreams, or you can travel to different realms, different dimensions. You can get spiritual messages from other entities or from God in your dreams. So I think dreams are really interesting, actually. I did watch Avatar, yes. And no, I don't watch Young Sheldon. Someone said God is all we see, but we do not keep nature grateful enough. I agree. And I think that if we are in alignment with God, then we are acting in a way that is in harmony with nature. Because I believe that everything is part of God. And so when we start to see that we're all a expression of the one, then we will treat each other with the same love and respect and kindness, no matter what the form. It's how we create harmony on earth. Okay, guys, I'm going to go to the toilet. So I'm having a little break. I'll be back in a few minutes. I don't know how many countries I've been to, but thanks for asking. Quite a few. I'm just going to go to the toilet for 1 second, guys. Hey, Helge. Sending you a big hug. Okay. I think it's time for me to go. It's been really fun chatting with you guys. Okay, let me answer one more question. Someone said, why would God create us and the universe for what purpose? So when I listen to different spiritual teachers, one of the things that I hear a lot is that God basically split. So God was one, okay? And so this is us as well, by the way. Like, we are all coming from this source. But in the beginning, it's like, I don't know what the beginning was, but God split itself into two so that it could experience itself. So this is like the beginning of duality. And then from that started to manifest into lots and lots of different forms so that it could experience itself and expand, understand itself, become more aware of itself. So that's a theory, which I find quite interesting. So as we go through life, what we're doing is we are just becoming more and more self-aware, because that's what God wants, to become more aware. Are you a pantheist? What's a pantheist? Let's see. Yes, I would say I probably am a pantheist. I just read it. It says belief that God and the universe are identical, viewing the cosmos, nature, and humanity as divine, rather than believing in a personal creator God separate from reality. Yeah, I don't believe in a God that is separate. Yeah, okay, someone said, do you imply God as a pool of consciousness and us being the tiny droplets? I guess so, but we're never separate from it. And also, I think the better analogy is like the God being the sun, and then we are like individual beams of light that come off. So we're always connected. But also the ocean is a great analogy as well, I guess. Do you pray? If yes, how many times a day? I pray a lot, all day. But I also think that prayer is not so much having to be like a formal, like, dear God, dear Heavenly Father. Like, I don't think it necessarily needs to be like that. I think prayer is actually, I think our words are prayers, our thoughts are prayers. So for me, it's like tuning in. Sometimes I do sit down and I say, like, dear God, thank you for this, this, and this. But then also, I think that just being aware of my thoughts and speaking out loud affirmations is also prayer. So I do that all day. I'm always affirming lots of positive things throughout my day. Hey, Okay, man still. I think the purpose of life is to know the inner self. That's the answer that satisfies me the most. I think it's a great thing to, yes. A great thing to do is to understand your inner world. But I also think to be of service to each other. But we can do that better once we know ourselves. Zaina, I'm from England. Thank you, Helge. I'm glad. Ah, thank you, Faho, for subscribing. I appreciate you. I do believe there's God, but I don't believe God is separate from us. I do believe that we are expressions from the one source. Oh, thank you, Zainab, for subscribing. I really appreciate it. Okay, someone asked me, what do I think about the ongoing war? I think that war is a manifestation of our inability to resolve conflict within ourselves and with others. It's just it's a manifestation that is happening on such a wide scale. It's showing a lot out in a state of consciousness. And I think that it also shows a lot to do with what we are opting into in terms of who we choose to be our leaders. Like, why do we do that? Why do we depend on these leaders? We really need to be finding new ways. Okay, man still, don't you think the concept of heaven and hell kind of disrespects God? It seems to be immoral to me. I don't think it makes sense, to be honest, that God would even create this concept of heaven and hell where you get sent to hell for eternity if you haven't believed in Jesus. Like, that, to me, makes no sense. I personally think that heaven and hell is a state of consciousness that you can experience right now. Like, we're only ever experiencing the present moment, and we can either be tuned into fear or to love. And if we're tuned into fear, then we're going to, if we're focused on fear, if we're focused on thoughts that are rooted in fear, then we're going to have a hellish experience. If we focus on love, then we're going to have a more hell-like experience. You can experience hell on earth and you can experience heaven on earth. It really depends on your perspective. Yes, I agree. And I've also watched a lot of near-death experience videos, guys. I talk about this a lot. And if you look into the near-death experience reports that have been rolling out for thousands of years, not just on the internet, but before as well, that we even had the internet, people were having near-death experiences. And for pretty much every single one I've watched on YouTube, there's a really good YouTube channels like The Other Side, NDE, you could check that out, that people don't go to heaven or hell. People do have hellish experiences sometimes, but as soon as they call on God or they call on Christ, they get brought up back into heaven. So it's about what you're tuned into. Most people actually just experience bliss, and then they get a life review where you go over to the other side, and then you get to watch your whole life, and you experience it from not just your perspective, but from everyone in your life, their perspective as well. So let's say there was a experience that you had with someone where you were unloving to them or you were withholding love from them, then you'll experience it from your perspective and their perspective. So you get to go through this review, and this is one of the massive themes in NDEs, is people have life reviews. So we will have a life review when we leave this planet. We will review our lives, and we'll get to see what we did that was in alignment with love, and then where we withheld love. And that's literally the whole point of life. Okay, this is what I believe is the point of life, is to come in and try to express love as much as you possibly can. And when we're not expressing love, it's because we're focused on something that is rooted in fear. And that is where we start to dismantle our limiting beliefs, our patterns, and the thoughts that are keeping us attached to fear. I believe love is the source of creation, yes. Everyone says when they go into their near-death experience, when they have near-death experiences and they experience leaving the body, it's like pure bliss. There's no heaviness. It's like coming out of a really tight costume that is just like, you just feel so much expansiveness and freedom and just pure infinite love. It's like something you've never experienced on earth before. Okay, good night, Tim. Thank you for being here. Hello, mate. Starboy, you're back. Nice to see ya. Hey, Ellie Mae, welcome. Thank you for introducing yourself. Thank you. Praying for all, me too. Ibsen loves you. Good night, Amy. Good night, my darling. Subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed the live. I appreciate it. Why don't you sleep? I do sleep. I will be going to sleep soon. Thank you, Zubia Kamal. Appreciate you. Thank you, Felix. I'm glad, Helge. The weather in England has been really nice recently, actually. Last few days, it's been warm. Whereabouts are you, Zainab? Monkware, remember your face. And you said no answer, trying to guess Manchester. I'm not from Manchester, no. 12 degrees. I like it though. I like when the sun's out, it's great. I don't care what the temperature is. Do you think there is only one God or many? I think that there is one ultimate source, but then I also think that there might be, you know, other kinds of godlike masters or entities or creator gods. I'm not from Bristol, guys. I'm from Bristol, Zainab. I'm not going to say exactly where I'm from, okay? But it's in England. It's in the south. You know where my accent is from. No. Okay, guys, I'm done for the night now. Shall I read a little prayer for us before I go? Hang on. Okay. I'm going to read you a prayer from this book, A Return to Prayer, before I sign off for the evening. Okay, I open it on a random page, and the page that it come up on it's a prayer for achievement. So it says, many times we are held back by a sense that we are simply not good enough, talented enough, or smart enough to do what we want to do. We pray for God to free us from the internal chains that bind us. Self-confidence stems from confidence in God. It is not we alone who do the work. The work is done by Him who is within us. I love this because I was literally listening to a video today and it was literally saying the same thing. That was like, we need to have trust and faith that we're not alone doing these things. We are always supported, always divinely supported. Okay, so I'm going to read you the prayer. Dear God, and guys, if you want to really tune in with this prayer, then I invite you to close your eyes. Dear God, I feel that my life is less than it should be. I cannot find my freedom or passion. I have so much inside me that stays shut down, that isn't free. I hurt so much to know that I'm not living at full force. My talents are not used as I wish. My abilities are not fully formed. My energies are so suppressed. I do not know how to break free of the ways I constantly negate myself. I hold myself prisoner somehow. I know I do. I know it is my own illusion. This prison is in which I live, yet I cannot break free, though I try so hard. Please, dear God, break down the walls that surround me, melt this prison, free my soul that I might be as you would have me be. Free to live, to soar, to create, to love, to feel passion for good, to do the good with passion. I wish to fly. I wish to feel your full abundant spirit in me. Give me this miracle. Thank you. Amen. So that is the end of this live, guys. And I will see you in the next live, maybe. So thank you to everyone that came. If you haven't liked this live yet and you got any value from this, please do hit the like button. And please do subscribe if you did enjoy and you want to see more of my lives or my videos or my content, and if you want to follow me on Instagram, you can do that too. It's Amy Louise Samp. It's the same as my YouTube handle. And so yeah, if you're interested, do that. And also, if you want to book in a one-to-one, I have a couple of one-to-one sessions for next week left. So if you're interested, you want to go really deep into this spiritual work and you want some help with uncovering limited patterns so that you can start manifesting quicker and make shifts much quicker, then send me an email, because my email is in the description. And for now, I will see you guys a different day. Peace, love, namaste. Bye-bye.